Imagine being that widow with a son in Zarephath, having only enough left in the kitchen to make one more meal, a meal just of bread, and then you're going to starve. There is no welfare system. There are no food pantries. You have no family or friends who you can call for help because guess what? There's been a drought going on for a long time. Everybody's in the same position. Everybody's going to be starving to death soon. And so you gather together the last of your ingredients to make your last supper. And a guy walks through your front gate and asks for a portion of what you have left. Don't worry, he says. God promises that there will always be enough for you and for your son if you share with me. No one in their right mind would have helped Elijah. Who would risk their child going without so that a stranger could be fed? And therein lies the problem. The reason why we have such a hard time making the right decision in these cases, because, see, we're not supposed to be right-minded. I listened this week to a presentation in a meeting I went to for Lutherans for Life, and she was talking about abortion and unwed mothers and euthanasia, and Pastor Wright from the church in the Austin district asked, I thought, an interesting question. He wanted to know what Lutherans for Life had to help him with the challenges he faced every day in his neighborhood. See, because he's not so confronted with abortion and euthanasia and unwed mothers, he's more confronted with people driving down the street with automatic weapons hanging out the window and shooting people on the sidewalk. See, talking to Pastor Wright about euthanasia is like talking to a drowning man about eating right and getting plenty of exercise. See, it occurred to me that all of these social ills with which we struggle, along with a huge other list, all have a similar root cause. Whether you're talking about abortion or euthanasia or people gunning down people on the sidewalk, it all has to do with we want things our way. See, it sounds so nice sometimes. I don't want Grandma to have to suffer with that horrible disease, so I'll just vote for physician-assisted suicide, and then Grandma can decide when she wants to leave this world and how she wants to leave this world. Why trust God to do things? He might not do things right. It might be painful. It might be uncomfortable. It might take up all Grandma's money, and then what would we do? And I don't want my daughter to be pregnant by that no-good boyfriend, so I'll just take her down to the clinic and get her an abortion. And we just can't have pregnancy mess up our plans, because God certainly can't bring any good out of this, because after all, He's only omniscient and omnipotent. It sounds silly, but it takes a lot of faith to breathe that deep breath and let God have His way. It's not normal. It's not right-minded. It seems that all the ills with which society struggles find their source in human beings failing to let God have His way. To take what God has given us and not to try to take what is not ours. And it doesn't really matter what it is. Health, peace, money, education, love, marriage, even food. What kind of faith would it take to be on the brink of starvation, honest to goodness starvation, and feed a stranger from your own meager supply? Just trusting that God will take care of you. Or look at that poor woman in the gospel. Do you know how many people I have had tell me that they just don't have enough money to give to God? It always almost makes me laugh when people say that. I have to be careful not to guffaw out loud. Because how ironic is that to say, I don't have any money to give to God? Where did that money come from? Where did your ability to earn that money come from? And he only asks for a portion. He asks for a faithful portion of what he has given you. That portion's a penny or $1,000 makes no difference. Faithfulness to God is giving a portion of what he's given to you. And of course, the greater the faith, the greater that portion will be. I've been asked by so many congregations over the years how to get people to give. And now that I'm a district official, I know all the secrets. No, I don't. Because there's no secret. The woman gave a percentage of what she had to Elijah, simply because she believed that God would provide for her and her son. The woman in the gospel gave a percentage of what she had to the temple, simply because she believed that God would provide for her needs. And this is even before Jesus died on the cross and suffered hell for us. Think how much greater our faith will be, knowing that we have the resurrection on top of everything else. People who trust in God give to God. It's that simple. God says, give a portion of what I give you. If I give you food, share some of that food with the hungry. If I give you time, share some of your abilities with those who need it. If I give you money, whether that's a $5,000 paycheck or a $25 gift from grandma, give a portion of it back to me. Why is that so hard to grasp? Why are people forever making excuses about how they have nothing to give? Because they do not trust God to provide. It's right back to that same old ill that we have. We're afraid that if we don't keep enough in reserve, life may not go the way we have planned it. I guarantee you it won't. Life never goes the way we planned it. God's always throwing monkey wrenches into our gears. Because we do not live for ourselves. We live for God. People who trust in God give to God because they know that he will take care of them. Now, trust is a linear idea. No one trusts fully because we're all plagued by sin. So all of us here are somewhere on that line, from complete trust in God to unbelief. And wherever you are on that line, if you want your faith to grow, if you want your trust to grow, then feed your faith. Keep reading Word. Keep receiving the sacrament. Nourish your faith, and it'll grow. See, because it's not a matter of what you think. And Lord knows if you have never learned anything from me, learn that it's not a matter of what you feel. It's what is. God's Word and his holy sacrament cause faith to grow. That's just what it does. And as your faith grows, so will your trust. And as your trust grows, so will your giving to God. These two widows that are presented for us today in our texts are absolute, concrete proof of what faith does. And like most of the things of God, it really is that simple.